Alright, so I'm going to be doing a trade recap on the trades I took today on the indices. So, bro, I hate MacBooks. Bro, it doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, Rich, you guys are just going to have to deal with the top bar. But, we'll start with RTY. Let's go to RTY. Let's get RTY and YM pulled up. And kind of just split screen this one. RTY and YM. Alright. Alright, so coming into the day, I saw, RTY is really close to this high. So this is definitely something potential we can draw into. So I need a profile that supports that, right? So dropping down, we get this, almost like a delayed protraction open, actually. Yeah. So this is 1800, right? It's different because usually when we want a bullish day, we want us to open low and then high close, right? But today it was delayed protraction. So what we saw was RTY opens high, same with YM, and they return back to make a new low of day. That's what a delayed protraction profile is. They delay the time before they make their wick. So we expand away, coming into open. What you see is we make this new wick, right? New daily wick. So we can just start looking at the SMTs we got here, right? So this is this clear cracking correlation. If you go to the 4 hour, we also have SMT within this 4 hour gap, right? So RTY, the one that created the new low of day, is obviously gonna have that SMT, right? Because YM does not trade into the gap. So dropping lower from there, that we already have a 2-stage, right? We have this initial SMT, then we get the second SMT. And why wouldn't I long YM? I just don't, like, there's nothing super relevant. Like, I saw these highs and I was like, yeah, sure, I could like trade to them, but it's just like, I think we end up hitting those on open anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So there's just not much here for me, right, to draw into compared to RTY, who has that daily high. So I waited for 10 a.m. We get this swing formation, right? It's nice C2 on both assets. Dropping in the lower time frame here, you can see that both the assets, RTY is showing relative strength, right? Because on YM we fail to create a gap, while on RTY we create a gap, right? So this is strength switching. This is a form of strength switching where this asset was the most bearish because it's putting the SMT at the lows, while this asset's not. But this asset has more expansion. It's creating gaps, while this asset's not. So this is a form of strength switching. What do we see from this gap? We get an SMT fill with the gap. Dropping in the lower time frame, we can like start to look at what I actually ended up taking. Right, so here's this SMT fill. Here. So what do I need to see from here? I want to see a V shape and close through, right? Which is exactly what we get here. Right, so this is, I put a limit for longs here. My stop like just on this low to draw into these daily highs for just over 2R, right? Once we retested my entry and expanded away, I just trailed my stop here, right? So you see me go from initially like a 3.9 point stop to like under a 1 point stop. So that is what I did. And I get trailed out, but it kind of just bullshit, so it's fine. It does end up hitting my draw, but that's fine. And then we'll switch over to my win on NQ. But that's like the framework. I would take that every single day. Let's get ES, NQ, and YM pulled up. All right. Let's drop into the 4 hour. Again, same sort of idea here. Like, I'm just expecting continuation, but on these assets, I want to see an SMT break on NQ. So you look at these daily highs, right? We have ES above this daily high. YM as well as above those daily highs. Right, so I'm just looking to get an SMT break here. on the weakest asset. Like kind of the same thing we've been trading all week, except it's been YM taking SMT break to the high days. But today I was trying to catch NQ SMT break to that daily high. So just mark out that daily high. I took it here. You could have taken it to here. I was just like, it was good RR, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna call it there. We also started kind of like consolidating before this high. This asset started like to retrace, so you'll see that. I'll point that out. So I was kind of like, yeah, we could just retrace here, and I don't want to get like wicked out or anything. So 4 hour, right? We have a 4 hour gap. We can even start from all the way out here, right? We have this previous day, right? We want our wick to be made in the upper half of this. I'm sorry, this is ugly, but I used to be a big standard deviation guy for targets. Right, so we want our wick to be made in the upper half of this day. So we go to the 4 hour, and we want to look for like point of interest in the upper half of this wick. And like, what do we see? There's this gap and this gap. So it could be either or. But what we see is we trade into this gap and we start getting a reaction out of it. Zoom in a little bit. Right, we trade in this gap. We're getting a reaction out of it on all assets. You see 10 a.m. close as a PSP. Right, 10 a.m. closes as a PSP. Doesn't really matter how it looks, but yeah, 10 a.m. closes as PSP. So dropping lower. I wouldn't love to long like from this low, right? Because it's really close proximity. So I'm gonna let the as the best way to say, I'm gonna let the chart show me that we're okay with reversing from there. And how are we gonna do that? I'm not gonna take this initial reversal. I'm gonna just take a gap continuation, right? Higher. So what we end up getting is, right, we already had the 4 hour PSP. I'm pretty sure there was a lower time frame one as well, but it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, there's this hourly PSP, which is a 2-stage PSP. So we get another nice crack correlation there. So there's our 2-stage sequence. But I'm going to wait for the reversal to happen, and then I can just play a continuation. So what we end up getting here, we look with ES. What is a gap on YM? Right? Nope, not even a gap on YM. Whatever. This 15-minute low, it's an open of something. Yeah, it's open of our 10:30 candle. Open of our new 90-minute candle as well. And we get this SMT at that low. Right, so I can play a continuation from that. Right, so, right, if this is going to be a reversal, we get this CSD. What has to hold? We want to see this gap hold, right? Because if not, we should probably come return to these lows, or we'll just consolidate. Like, it doesn't matter. But we get this little 15-minute SMT, right? So what do I want to see now? Some sort of, like, close. I want to see a close through. I want to see us respect that, like, respect these P arrays and also use that SMT for higher. So what we get, look down here, we get this close through, and I take my long. I'm pretty sure I take it like here, like on this. I took it like on this candle. I forgot where my fill was. Probably like, I think it was like somewhere in here. And I put my stop like on this low. And I was reaching to, oh, no, I didn't, because this was our, we got a second SMT here. Hold on, wait, I want to show you that. That's why my stop was tighter. Where is this? It's over here. Zoom in. Right, and this is ideally what we want to see, right? YM's the strongest asset. We want it to be switching strength to show these other assets are going to catch up with it. Yeah, okay, so look at this. We get this SMT. Look at this low. This low gets ran out here on this candle. This is why I was waiting. Yeah, okay. And then after we get that close, I have my stop here on this SMT because I want to see this SMT hold. It's also, where is it also? It's at these bodies. So we do have time to retest that CSD if we need. But my stop's also below these bodies, but it's mainly on this wick where we have SMT. And then I was looking towards those daily highs. Yeah, my R was 3 point, like 8. Yeah, it was like this. It's like my fill. It's pretty much 4R.